Welcome back to Truevenge Chronicles, and a big hello to every new listener who just found us. On this channel, we tell revenge stories with real feelings and smart proof that makes justice land. Today's episode is titled, My MIL Called Me a Temporary Phase, the Documents Were Permanent. You'll watch a mother-in-law smile in public, insult me at dinner, and try to trap my wife into signing secret loan papers. But I stay calm, save every message, and let the truth build until the right papers speak for us. If you love family drama, payback, and lessons you can use, you're in the right place. Now sit and enjoy the story of the day.
I heard the words before I saw the smile. We were at my mother-in-law's house in Manchester, at a dining table that always looked staged for a photo. Celeste Rourke leaned toward her sister and whispered it clear enough for me to hear. "He's a temporary phase," she said, then laughed. "Our Noor will grow out of it." My fork froze over my plate. Across the table, my wife, Noor Grant, kept talking about her week at the children's clinic, unaware of what her mother had just said about me. "My name is Elias Grant. I'm 37, and I manage contracts for a freight company. I read every line, spot every trick, and keep people from signing away their future." That night, I realized I was sitting inside the kind of trap I dealt with at work, except it wore pearls. Celeste's son, Damien Rourke, sat to my left, tapping his foot like the floor owed him money. Damien was 31 and called himself an entrepreneur, but he never stayed with one idea long enough to finish it. He spoke in big words and lived on small promises. Celeste's husband, Martin, barely spoke. He stared at his food and nodded when Celeste spoke. "So, Elias," Celeste said, lifting her glass. "How's the little train job?" "It's freight," I said. "And it's going well." "Bless you," she replied, as if I had told her I swept streets. "At least it's steady. Not everyone needs ambition." Damien snorted. "Some people are born to follow rules." Noor glanced at me and smiled, a quick warm look that said, "Please, just get through dinner." After dessert, Celeste pulled Noor into the hallway while I stacked plates at the sink. I could still hear their voices. "Sweetheart, you're glowing," Celeste said. "But you're wasting your shine. You need a partner who matches you." "Mum." "Stop," Noor whispered. "I'm not being cruel," Celeste said. "I'm being honest. Elias is fine, for now. A phase." I dried my hands slowly and turned off the tap. When Noor came back, her cheeks were pink. "Everything okay?" I asked. "She wants us over next Sunday too," Noor said. "And she wants Damien to come by our flat tomorrow." "For what?" Noor hesitated. "He needs help. It's business stuff." That night, back in our flat in Ancoats, Noor fell asleep fast. I stayed awake, replaying Celeste's words. Temporary phase. The next morning, I got an email at work from a lender I had never heard of. The subject line read, "Guarantor confirmation needed." My heart thumped once, hard. I opened it. It thanked Noor for agreeing to guarantee a business loan for Rourke Mobile Coffee Limited. It listed our home address, Noor's date of birth, and a meeting time at a notary office on Friday. I read it twice. Noor had never mentioned a loan. At lunch, I called Noor. "Did you agree to guarantee a loan for Damien?" I asked. "What?" "No," she said. "Why would I do that?" "I got an email," I said. "It has your details." There was a pause. I could hear children in the background. "My mum wouldn't," Noor said softly. "I'm not blaming anyone yet," I said. "But we need to check." That evening, Damien showed up at our flat with 2 coffees and a grin. "Big news," he said. "We're about to scale." Noor crossed her arms. "Damien, did you put my name on a loan?" Damien's grin slipped, then returned. "It's not like that. It's just a form. Mum said you'd help." "I did not say yes," Noor said. Celeste called right then, like she had been waiting. "Darling," Celeste said, sweet as syrup. "Damien told me you're anxious." "Don't be. It's a simple guarantee. Family supports family." "I didn't agree," Noor repeated. Celeste's voice hardened. "Don't make this difficult. Elias can sign too if he wants to feel useful. I stepped in. Celeste, you used Noor's personal details without permission. That isn't support. That's fraud. The word fraud landed like a plate dropped on stone. Damien's face went pale. Celeste inhaled sharply, then laughed. Oh, Elias, she said. You and your documents. You really are a temporary phase. Noor will see that one day. Noor looked at her phone, then at me. Her eyes were wet. That was the moment I stopped hoping for respect. I started building a case. After the call, Damien left without finishing his coffee. Noor sat on the sofa and rubbed her forehead. What do we do? She asked. We get ahead of them, I said. We lock down your identity. And we gather proof. Noor swallowed. My mom would never try to hurt me. She might think she's helping, I said. But harm is harm, even with a smile. That night I called Amina Rahman, a solicitor my company used for disputes. She was 40, sharp, and calm. Send me what you have, she said. Do not sign anything. Do not let Noor sign anything. Friday is too soon. We act now. I emailed her the message and the notary details. Then I opened a new folder on my laptop and named it Permanent. Before I slept, Amina sent a short list of steps. 1. Noor would call her bank and place a fraud alert. 2. She would freeze her credit with every agency. 3. We would request the loan file in writing and demand the signature page. 4. We would not argue with Celeste on the phone again. Arguments disappear. Paper stays. At work the next day, I asked our compliance team how banks record signing meetings. They told me most notaries keep logs, cameras, and ID scans. I wrote that down. Every detail felt like a brick in a wall around our home. Quick pause, friends. Are you enjoying this story so far? Do you like how it started? And what do you think about a mother-in-law calling her son-in-law a temporary phase while pushing secret loan papers? Tell me your honest opinion in the comments. And if you were in my shoes right now, what would you do next? Would you confront Celeste face-to-face, warn the bank, or let the notary meeting happen so you can catch the lie in the act? I really want to know what you would choose. Also, what do you think about my channel Truevenge Chronicles so far? Please comment where you are watching from, and if you are new here, hit subscribe so you never miss a story. Like the video if you want part 2, and share it with a friend who loves smart revenge and real-life lessons. On Wednesday, Noor met me after work at a small cafe near Piccadilly Gardens. She looked tired, but her eyes were clear. I called my bank, she said. They placed a warning on my account. They said someone tried to request a business loan check with my name. I felt a cold rush in my chest. Did they say who? No, Noor said. But they asked if I wanted to file a report. We do, I said. Today. We went home and opened my laptop at the kitchen table. The table was plain wood, scratched from years of cheap meals and late talks. That night it became our war room. Amina joined by video call. She wore a dark blazer, her hair tied back tight, and her voice sounded like a door locking. First, I need to understand the people, she said. Who is Celeste in this story? Power matters. Noor spoke quietly. Mom runs a small property management office. She knows everyone in her circle. She cares a lot about status. She likes control. And Damien? Amina asked. Noor sighed. He's my brother. He's charming. He fails a lot. Mom covers it. Amina nodded once. And you, Elias? Why are you a problem to her? Because I do not bend, I thought. Because I read the fine print. Because I do not owe her. I said it simpler. She can't steer me. Amina's eyes softened for a second. Good. Now listen. There are 2 fights here. One is emotional. The other is legal. We focus on the legal because it creates the emotion later. She told Noor to write a short timeline while it was fresh. Date of the dinner. Date of the email. Time Damien arrived. Exact words said on the call. Noor's hands shook as she typed, but she did it. Then Amina told me to request the loan documents from Northgate Finance, in writing, and to ask for their identity checks, their signing logs, and the broker details. She also told Noor to send a written notice to Celeste and Damien. No permission to use her identity, no permission to act on her behalf, and no contact about loans without a solicitor present. No phone calls, Amina repeated. Texts and emails only. After we ended the call, Noor stared at her screen. If I send that to my mum, she said, it will start a war. It will start the truth, I said. Noor pressed send. The reply came 10 minutes later, not from Celeste, but from a number I did not know. It was a photo of a folder on a desk. On top was a printed form with Noor's name on it and a signature at the bottom that looked like hers from a distance. Below the photo, a message read, "Stop making trouble. Just sign on Friday. Your mum is doing this for you." I did not reply. I took a screenshot, saved it, and sent it to Amina. Noor's breathing went shallow. Who would send that? Someone who thinks fear is a tool, I said. And someone who forgot I work with contracts. Thursday afternoon, Northgate Finance replied to my request. The email was polite, almost cheerful. It said they could not share documents with me because I was not the applicant. Amina answered that within 5 minutes. She attached Noor's signed authority letter and asked again, sharper this time. She also asked for the broker name and the notary's full details. That evening, Celeste arrived at our flat without warning. She had a shopping bag in one hand and a smile that did not reach her eyes. I brought pastries, she said, stepping inside before Noor could say yes. She looked around our living room like it was a hotel room she might review. Then she turned to Noor. Darling, you scared your brother, Celeste said. He thought you trusted him. Noor stood straight. I trust him to be my brother. Not to use my name on loans. Celeste's smile tightened. You're overreacting. It's a guarantee. It would never touch you. If it would never touch her, I said, then you wouldn't need her name. Celeste turned her eyes on me, cold and bright. Elias, this is family business. You are new here. We've been married 3 years, Noor said. Celeste waved a hand. I mean new in the sense of permanent. Noor has phases. She always has. Remember her vegan year? Her yoga year? This is like that. Noor's face went white. I saw the hurt land, clean and sharp. Celeste stepped closer to Noor and lowered her voice, as if she was being kind. You want a good life, she said. A real life. Damien is building something. We need the family to show strength. The notary meeting is Friday. We sign and we move on. Noor swallowed. No, Celeste's eyes flashed. Fine, she said. Then at least do not embarrass us at Sunday dinner. Harriet Sloane will be there. I knew that name. Harriet was Celeste's close friend, the kind who judged your shoes, your car, and your parents in one blink. Celeste adjusted her scarf like she was closing a deal. Harriet's nephew, Finn Calder, is coming too. He's doing very well in finance. Very well. I think it will be nice for Noor to see her options. Noor's mouth opened, then closed. Mom, that's disgusting, Celeste shrugged. It's realistic. I felt my pulse in my throat. Celeste, you don't get to threaten my marriage because Noor won't sign a loan. Celeste smiled again, that same soft knife of a smile. Marriage? Elias, marriage is paper. People tear paper every day. And in one heavy than. In the read it is one. And when heavy than. In the prove it is one. I looked at her, and I almost laughed. You're right, I said calmly. Marriage is paper, and paper is exactly where you lose. Celeste's smile twitched. For the first time, she looked unsure. She left without touching the pastries. After she went, Noor sat down hard. I hate that she can still make me feel small, she whispered. You're not small, I said. She's loud. Friday morning arrived like a storm cloud. Noor was scheduled to finish work at noon. I took the afternoon off. Amina told us to attend the notary meeting, but only to observe and to record what we could legally record. She said the goal was to get names, methods, and mistakes. At 1:30 p.m., Noor and I walked into the notary office on Deansgate. The waiting room smelled like printer ink and stale coffee. A woman behind the desk looked up and asked Noor's name. Before Noor could answer, Damien stood up from a chair in the corner, grinning too wide. "Here she is," he said. "My hero." Celeste rose behind him, holding a folder like it was a trophy. And next to them stood a man I had never seen before, in a gray suit, with a sharp chin and a badge clipped to his belt. He held out his hand. "Glenn Voss," he said, "broker on this file. Pleasure to meet you." His handshake was firm and practiced. His eyes were not kind. Noor did not take his hand. I did, and as I shook it, I noticed the small camera in the corner of the ceiling, blinking red. Good, I thought. Let it blink. Celeste leaned in close to Noor. "Be sweet," she whispered. "Sign, and we all go back to normal." Noor looked at me. I gave her a tiny nod. Not yes, but steady. Then the notary called our name, and we walked toward the back office where the documents waited. Inside, the notary, a tired man named Colin Mercer, opened the folder and slid the papers across the desk. The top page was a guarantee agreement with Noor's name printed in bold. Noor's lips parted when she reached the signature box. "That isn't my signature," she said. Celeste's voice snapped. "Don't start." Glenn Voss leaned forward. "It matches the ID we received. If you're unsure, sign again to confirm." Colin Mercer cleared his throat. "We do need a fresh signature today." I pointed to a line near the bottom. "Colin, show us the ID scan used when that first signature was taken." The notary blinked. Glenn's jaw tightened. Colin reached for a drawer, and I saw fear in Glenn's eyes before it opened. Noor squeezed my hand under the desk. I squeezed back, and I hit record on my phone, keeping it low by my leg. Part 2. Colin Mercer pulled out a thin file sleeve and set it on the desk. He looked at Glenn Voss first, like he was asking permission without words. Glenn gave a tiny shake of his head. Colin opened the sleeve anyway. Inside was a photocopy of a passport. The photo was Noor, but the name line was wrong. One letter in her last name had been changed. The date of birth was right. The address was an old address from before we married. Noor stared at it. "That's not my current address." Celeste snapped. "People move." I pointed to the corner. "This is not your office stamp. Who certified this copy?" Colin swallowed. "It came through the broker." Glenn leaned back. "This is getting silly." Noor signs, and we move on. "No," Noor said, louder now. "You used an old address and a fake stamp. You forged my signature." Damien jumped in. "Noor, stop. Mom said you'd do this." "Mom," Noor said, turning to Celeste. "Did you do this?" Celeste lifted her chin. "I did what I had to do. Damien is family." "And I'm not?" Noor asked. Celeste's mouth tightened. "You're my daughter. You'll calm down." Colin stood up halfway. "I can't proceed if there's a dispute." Glenn's smile faded. "We can proceed. She's here now." I kept my voice level. "If you proceed, you become part of fraud. You have been told the signature is contested. Stop." Colin sat back down, pale. Meeting is paused, he said. "I'm calling my supervisor." Celeste grabbed her folder. "You two are making a scene." "No," Noor said. "You made a crime." Glenn stood. "If you walk out, there will be consequences." I looked at him. "Good. Put your consequences in writing." We walked out with Noor's hands shaking and my phone still recording. In the lift, Noor started to cry, but her voice stayed firm. "She thinks I'm a tool," Noor whispered. "A thing to use." "She thinks paper is easy to tear," I said. "We're about to teach her it isn't." Outside, I called Amina. I told her what happened, including the fake stamp and the altered name. "Do not delete that recording," she said. "And do not warn them. We move fast." That afternoon, Amina filed a formal report with Northgate's fraud team and copied the notary office. She also submitted Noor's written statement and a request for the broker's full license details. Then she gave Noor a second assignment. "We need to make your life documents permanent," Amina said. "Not for revenge, for safety." That evening, Noor and I met Amina at her office near St. Peter's Square. Amina laid out forms on the table like cards in a game. This, she said, tapping one, is a notice to cease and desist. Your mother and brother are not allowed to contact banks or lenders on your behalf. This, she said, tapping another, is a data protection request that forces Northgate to hand over every note, every email, every ID scan. She slid a third document toward Noor. This is a lasting power of attorney. If anything happens to you, Elias makes decisions, not your mother. Noor swallowed. My mum will lose her mind. Amina did not blink. Your mother already used your identity. She is not safe to hold your power. Noor signed. Amina handed me a fourth document. This is a declaration of joint ownership for your flat. It confirms your shares and blocks anyone from claiming it was a gift to Noor alone. We signed. Amina notarized our signatures with a witness. Then she placed the signed copies into a sealed envelope. These are your permanent documents, she said. Once filed, they are very hard to undo. On Sunday morning, Noor woke up to 12 missed calls from Celeste. She did not answer. At noon, Celeste sent a text to Noor. It was one sentence. Bring Elias to dinner. Finn is coming. Noor's hands shook as she showed me the message. Do we go? She asked. We go, I said. But we go prepared. At 3 p.m., Amina called me with an update. Northgate froze the file, she said. They flagged Glenn Voss. They want a statement from Noor tomorrow. Also, the notary office has CCTV. We arrived at Celeste's house at 6 p.m. The table was bigger than usual, set with her best plates. Harriet Sloane sat at the far end, a tall woman with silver hair and a smile like a ruler. Next to her sat Finn Calder, early 40s, neat suit, calm hands, and eyes that measured everything. Damien was there too, trying to look relaxed. Martin sat in his usual spot, silent. Celeste stood when we walked in. There you are, she said brightly. Come, sit. Let's not start with drama. Noor took the seat beside me. I felt her knee touch mine, steady and warm. During the first course, Celeste talked about charity events and good families. Harriet laughed at every line. Finn smiled politely, like he was watching a play. Then Celeste leaned toward Noor and said, Sweetheart, I'm worried about you. You're making strange choices. Maybe this is just a phase. You always had phases. The room went quiet, and Noor, for the first time in years, did not look down. Finn cleared his throat. I've heard you're talented, Noor. You should be supported, not stressed, he said, then looked at Celeste. Some partners can hold you back. Harriet nodded. Damien smirked. I felt heat rise in my face, but Noor spoke first. My partner supports me, she said. The stress is coming from people who keep calling my marriage a phase. Celeste's smile stayed on, but her eyes sharpened. Under the table, Noor reached for my hand. I squeezed, and I felt the envelope in my jacket pocket. Hold up for a moment. If you've made it this far, I need your take. Was Noor right to stay calm at the notary office? Or should she have walked out even sooner? And now that Finn is sitting at the table hinting that I'm holding her back, what do you think Noor should do next? Should she expose everything in front of Harriet and Finn? Or keep it private and let the bank handle it first? Drop your answer below, because I read your comments. Also, tell me how this episode is hitting you and what you think of Truevenge Chronicles so far. If you're watching from Manchester, London, Lagos, Toronto, or anywhere else, type your city and country so we can shout you out. And if you want more smart revenge stories with clear lessons, subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Thank you, family. Noor set her napkin down neatly. Her voice stayed calm, but it carried. Finn, she said, you don't know my marriage. Please don't speak about my husband like he's an obstacle. Finn blinked. I meant no disrespect. You meant a suggestion, Noor said, and my mother invited you to make it. Celeste gave a small laugh. Noor, don't be rude. Finn is successful. He's offering perspective. No, Noor said. You are offering pressure. Harriet leaned forward. Celeste only wants what's best, she said. A good match matters. Damien muttered. Can we eat? Noor turned to him. You brought my identity into this, Damien. So yes, we talk. Celeste's eyes narrowed. You're acting like your husband's lawyer, Noor answered. I'm acting like an adult. Celeste looked at me, smile sharp. Elias, be honest. How long do you think this phase lasts? Noor will wake up. Everyone waited like free. I reached into my jacket and placed the envelope on the table. Celeste's smile wavered. What is that? Documents, I said. Permanent ones. Celeste's voice tightened. Don't let him embarrass you. Noor nodded once. Family doesn't steal your name. I tapped play on the recording from the notary office. Glenn Voss's smooth voice filled the silence. If you're unsure, sign again to confirm. Then Noor's voice. You forged my signature. Harriet's smile collapsed. Finn's brows lifted. Damien's face drained. You recorded us? I recorded a crime, I said. And it's already with my solicitor and the bank. Celeste snapped. You're destroying your brother! Noor's reply was steady. You tried to trap me. I'm stopping it. I opened the envelope and slid out 3 pages. First, a cease and desist notice on Amina Rahman's letterhead. You were served this, I said to Celeste. You are not allowed to contact lenders or notaries using Noor's identity. Celeste swallowed. Second, Noor's lasting power of attorney. Noor pointed at her own signature. If anything happens to me, Elias decides, not you. Celeste hissed. I'm your mother. Noor said, that doesn't give you my life. Third, our joint ownership declaration, filed and stamped. Our home is protected, I said. You can't push Noor into debt and then try to control our roof. Finn stared at Celeste. So you invited me here to watch you pressure your daughter into fraud? Celeste tried to smile. Finn, darling, you don't understand. I understand enough, Finn said, standing. Harriet, I'm leaving. Harriet stayed seated, pale. Damien's voice cracked. What about my business? Noor looked at him. Build it honestly, not on my name. Martin finally spoke, quiet and rough. Celeste, stop. Celeste stared at him like she had forgotten he could talk. My phone buzzed. Amina's message flashed. Northgate wants speaker confirmation now. Noor nodded, so I put the phone on speaker. This is Marcus Hale from Northgate Fraud and Compliance, a calm voice said. Am I speaking with Noor Grant? Yes, Noor said. We confirm you did not apply for, sign, or authorize a guarantee for Rourke Mobile Coffee Limited, correct? Correct, Noor said. Thank you, Marcus said. We have frozen the file. The broker involved is being reported to the licensing body. You may be contacted for a statement tomorrow at 10 a.m. This call is logged. The line ended. Celeste tried to recover fast. She turned to Harriet first, like Harriet was a judge she could still charm. This is a misunderstanding, she said. Noor agreed in principle. She just got nervous. Noor shook her head. I said no. I said no twice. Celeste swung back to me. You're twisting everything. You're filling her head with legal talk. I lifted my phone and showed the screenshot from the unknown number, the one with the folder and Noor's fake signature. Stop making trouble. Just sign on Friday. Harriet leaned closer to read it. Who sent that? I asked Northgate, I said. The number is linked to the broker's office line. Celeste's cheeks burned. Damien's hands started to shake. Glenn promised it was normal, he said. He said the bank doesn't care. That's why brokers like him exist, I said. They sell shortcuts and call them help. Celeste snapped. So what? You ruin my son and feel proud? Noor's voice stayed steady. Mom, you already ruined this when you chose lies. Harriet stared at Celeste. You changed Noor's name on an ID copy, she said, stunned. Why would you do that? It was Glenn's idea, Celeste said. He handles the paperwork. I just wanted Damien to have a chance. Martin's chair scraped. He stood up, voice low. Celeste, stop. Celeste shot him a look. Stay out of it. I stayed out of it for years, Martin said. I watched you talk down to Noor's choices. I watched you treat Elias like he was temporary. And now, I watched you risk our daughter's future for a loan. Noor looked at her father, eyes glassy. You knew? Martin shook his head. Not the details. I saw a folder. I believed her because it was easier than fighting. Noor breathed in slowly. It's not easier anymore. She faced Celeste. You called my husband a phase. You tried to make me feel embarrassed for loving someone steady, but steadiness is what kept me safe today. Celeste's voice went thin. Safe from your own family? Noor pointed at the papers. Safe from debt I didn't choose. Safe from a mother who thinks love means control. Celeste reached for the power of attorney page, her fingers shaking. You can't do this to me. I'm your mother. Noor did not flinch. It's filed. It stays, unless I choose otherwise. Damien's eyes filled. Noor, please. If the loan dies, I'm finished. Noor's voice softened, but stayed firm. Then start small. Work. Save. I will help you with real steps. But I will not sign my life away. Celeste looked around and realized nobody was backing her. Even Martin had stepped away from her shadow. Then Celeste attacked, because that was her last move. This is Elias, she spat. He wants you away from us. He wants you alone so he can own you. Noor's shoulders lifted. Mom, stop projecting, she said. Elias never owned me. You tried to. I slid one more page forward, the data request with Amina's signature. Northgate must now hand over every email and note, I said. And their compliance team will report Glenn Voss to the licensing body. Harriet stood up, shaking her head. Celeste, I can't defend this, she said. Celeste's lips trembled, and for a second her mask slipped. It wasn't love in her eyes, it was fear of consequences. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. The candles kept burning, but the room felt cold. Celeste's hands trembled on the edge of the table. So that's it? She whispered. You side with him and burn your own family? Noor stood up, shoulders squared. I'm not burning family. I'm stopping harm. If you want family, you start with respect. Finn cleared his throat. Celeste, I'm leaving, he said. He did not look back. Damien shoved his chair away. Mom, what did you do? He muttered, voice cracking. Celeste snapped. I did what I had to do. Martin's voice came quiet. No, Celeste. You did what you wanted. Harriet walked past us, eyes down. I'm sorry, Noor, she said, then left the house. Celeste stared at Noor, and the old power in her face was gone. You'll come back, she said. Noor answered, calm and final. Not until you can treat my husband like a person and treat me like an adult. I took Noor's hand. We're leaving, I said. On Monday, Noor gave her statement at Northgate at 10 a.m. The CCTV and the notary logs backed her up. Within weeks, Glenn Voss lost his broker license. Damien's loan collapsed, and he had to take a job. Celeste's clients heard the facts, and several ended their contracts with her office. Celeste tried to call Noor. Amina answered every time with one sentence. All communication through counsel. 3 months later, Noor and I moved to a flat across town. The peace was not loud, but it was real. And every time Noor heard the word phase again, she smiled, because she finally knew what was permanent. Lesson 1. When someone pressures you to sign papers, slow down. Ask for copies, read every line, and get advice. A smile can hide a trap. If a deal is honest, it can wait. Protect your name like cash, because thieves love rushed decisions. Keep dates and screenshots in folder. Lesson 2. Family is not a license to control you. Love without respect becomes harm. Set boundaries early and put them in writing if you must. If someone calls your marriage a phase, answer with steady actions. Your peace matters more than approval. Pick protectors, not users, when stress hits. Lesson 3. The best revenge is clear proof and calm timing. Don't shout first, document first. Use legal tools like fraud alerts, ownership papers, and power of attorney to protect your future. When truth is filed and stamped, bullies lose room to argue. Stay polite, but stay firm. Always. Now, I want your opinion. What part hit you the hardest? And what would you have done if you were in my shoes when the notary drawer opened? Write it in the comments. And try these lessons this week, at home, at work, and with family. Thank you for staying to the end, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for riding with Truevenge Chronicles so far. What kept you here until this moment? The suspense, the proof, or the justice at the end? Tell me below. If you want more viral revenge story time, family drama, workplace payback, and true revenge twists with real lessons, keep watching right after this video. Go to the playlists section and binge the best full episodes in order. New viewers, hit subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Share this episode with a friend who loves smart revenge and receipts. See you in the next story.
Before you go, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload. Then head to the playlists section and binge the best episodes. Family revenge, boss revenge, courtroom twists, and quiet comeback stories. If this story hit you, share it with a friend who needs courage. See you in the next Truevenge Chronicles. Like the video to boost it in the algorithm and help more viewers find these emotional, suspense-filled revenge tales. Your support keeps this channel growing, week after week, story after story together. Goodbye.